Hey everyone, it's your girl Layla. Welcome back to my channel.
Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Ooh.
Okay guys, I don't know why I am in the filming mood today. I think it's because I feel a little under the weather, and I know that if I get sick, that means that I'm not going to be able to film for a while. So I do want to have my content pre-filmed. So if I do sound a little nasally in this video, that is why. I believe I'm getting sick. I have like a sore throat. I woke up with a sore throat today. My friend's sick, so I'm pretty sure she gave it to me. But I don't know, it's also the time of the year. I always feel like I get sick in the spring, not really in any other season, usually just in the spring, which is really weird because most people get sick in the fall, winter. For me, it's the spring. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a story time. So if you guys are not already subscribed, please go ahead, click that subscribe button below. I upload 3 times a week, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. I feel like once I get in the habit of filming story times, I really get in the habit of filming story times. Like all of these ideas come into mind about things that I can talk about, and this is exactly that instance. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the time that a subway worker made me cry. I'm not proud of this moment because I feel like at the stage I am in my life, being 31, I should have a little bit more self-confidence within myself so that this doesn't happen. Also, I'm a girl that had been bullied a lot throughout elementary school and junior high, so I do have that trauma in the back of my mind all the time. So I guess I'm not as confident as I portray myself, or as confident as I think that I am. So I'm gonna be talking about this in today's video. It's super triggering, and I didn't know if I wanted to make a story time about this, but it's something that needs to be talked about, and let's get right into it. So this took place at the end of 2022, November, December. I remember it being a filming day for me. It was middle of the week and I had days off, which is not the case anymore. I don't do shift work anymore. I do a 9 to 5 like everyone else. But when I used to do shift work, I would have these random days throughout the week that I would be off. And if it was like a Wednesday or something, none of my friends were available to go hiking or to do anything that day, I would just have a filming day. And that is the type of day that I had. Usually in these filming days, I don't eat. I'm really bad about eating. I forget to eat. And I think when I'm at home, I only eat one meal a day, which is, I guess you could say it's like almost like intermittent fasting. Like I won't eat for 16 hours, eat a big meal, and then I won't eat until the next day. I don't know if it's really healthy, and I don't do it on purpose, to be honest. It's just I wake up late. Like I make it a habit to sleep in on my days off to catch up on my sleep, and then I'll film a YouTube video, or like 4 YouTube videos, let's say. It takes me time to get ready, it takes me time to film, it takes me time to get set up and all of that stuff. And especially if this took place on a Wednesday, I also had to upload a video that day, which takes even longer. It's like a full day of work, and then by the time it's like 6 p.m. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't eat all day. On this particular day, it was about 6 p.m. I had just wrapped up filming, and I think I was in the process of editing a video, and I'm like, damn, I'm really hungry, so I need to go out and get something to eat. And Andy was just getting home from work, and I was like, do you want to go to Subway or something like that? And he's like, no, I had a really long day and I'm not hungry. I think he'd just eaten on his break or something like that, and he wasn't hungry. So I went out to get coffee because, being the caffeine addict that I am, when I don't drink coffee, I get headaches, and I get them pretty bad. So I need to make sure I drink at least 1 cup of coffee per day. Otherwise, I'm not okay. So I went out to go to Tim Hortons to grab a coffee, and then I went to get some food at Subway. And this is where things go downhill for the story time. So I went to the Subway that's relatively close to my house. I don't like to venture really far away to go to Subway, because like, why would I when I have one, you know, just down the street from me. There was a couple or like not a couple, I think it was like a lady and her son in front of me, and then there was me, and it was towards the end of the night. It wasn't quite closing time yet. It was around like 7 p.m. or something like that, or like 6:45, 7, around there. So it wasn't really dinner time anymore. There wasn't like a huge lineup or anything. There was just the 2 people ahead of me and then me. And usually when you go into Subway and they're serving the other people, they'll go to you, take your order, or like start on your sandwich as the other person's sandwiches are in the oven or whatever. So they're being cooked, they'll start on the next person's order if they're alone, usually, right? So he was by himself that day. There was one person in there working, and then there was the 3 customers, the 2 people ahead of me and then myself. So usually he would start my order, but which he didn't. He just kind of looked at me and then he finished their order. I had to wait a little bit longer because of that, and then he cashed them out and then they left. So when it was my turn to order, he was just looking at me. He was looking at me weirdly, whatever. I just kind of chalked it up to like, this happens a lot. I don't really care. I went out that day with absolutely no makeup on my face because I had been filming all day long, and I think I filmed like a good 4 videos or something. It was around the time where it was getting into Vlogmas, so I was kind of like bulk filming things. And I do have days like that, like today, where I have my makeup on for like 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever the case may be. I just want to take it off. So I took all of my makeup off before I left my house. And normally this isn't a huge deal. Normally I don't care. You know, there was a point in time where I did care. I was really self-conscious about my appearance and how I looked every time I would leave the house, especially when I was a teenager and stuff. I really cared about putting a full face of makeup on every time I would leave the house. But at this point in time, I don't care anymore, especially if I'm just running out to grab food, running out to grab coffee. I really don't care so much. And my skin has improved like a lot in the past like 10 years to where I am confident enough going out with no makeup on for the most part. Of course, I'll have my days where I'm breaking out and I'll have to put BB cream on to go out. Otherwise, I don't feel confident enough to go out. But on this day, I was having, you know, kind of a good skin day. I wasn't breaking out anywhere, and I went out with no makeup on. And I didn't know that it would be this huge of a deal, but this guy was staring at me as he was taking my order, and I'm like, whatever, you know, people do that. It's whatever. So I placed my order. As he's saying, do you want it toasted or anything like that? I'm like, yes. So he takes my sub, puts it in the oven or whatever. He's still staring at me. And then he's like, I'm not being rude or anything like that, but what is wrong with your face? And I'm like, excuse me? Like, what did he just ask me? Did that just actually happen? So he's like, yeah, like, what is wrong with your face? How come you have so many spots on your face? And mind you, I do have freckles. I know not all of you can see it in my videos because sometimes I am wearing like a full face of foundation. Like today, I'm actually wearing a full face of makeup. In some videos of mine, my vlogs and that sort of thing, I'm wearing lighter coverage, BB cream, or no makeup at all. And you can see that I have freckles all around here. I'm lighter skinned. As you guys know, when I go outside in the sun, I get freckles. So I'm like, what? What are you even talking about? I was like, oh, my freckles, I'm not wearing any makeup today. I didn't know what to say because I was so taken aback by the comment that I was just like, oh, like my freckles, like I'm not wearing any makeup today. Like that's why you can see them. I mean, normally I'm wearing makeup, but today I'm not. Like you could tell I was a little taken aback by the comment, and I was a little bit like, I didn't know what to say, or I didn't know how to respond, and I didn't know what to say. So I nervously was like, oh yeah, I'm not wearing makeup today, but normally I am, so normally you can't see them. That's not a really great response when someone's asking you that question, but still, like, I honestly was shocked. So when he took my sandwich out of the oven, because it beeped in the middle of that, and he was asking me what type of veggies I wanted on it, and I went through the whole steps about, you know, putting the veggies on my sub and everything like that. And And he's like, yeah, like I didn't want to be rude or anything, I just had to ask. I'm like, okay, like why would you even ask that in the first place? Why would you put it that way in the first place? I don't understand. And it was an Indian guy, and usually people from India, they're very, very honest when it comes to things. Like they're very blunt and upfront and honest when it comes to like your appearance, or you know, if you forgot to pluck your eyebrows. It's mostly the women, they'll be like, oh, like you didn't do your eyebrows today or something like that. Just like, you know, little random comments like that. It doesn't mean anything. They're just like very honest and upfront about things. So from a guy, this was a little weird. I ordered my veggies. I wanted to get the hell out of there. I wanted to go home. I didn't want to speak to this person anymore. I just didn't want anything more to go on as far as this conversation. So when I go to pay, he's like, okay, listen, so you have a lot of spots on your face. And I'm like, trying to not get angry, but also not to drop my jaw in utter shock about how this conversation is going on, because I'm shocked. You know, I've always had issues with my skin. I've always had issues with acne ever since I was like 12, 13 years old. And it's gotten a lot better getting older, of course. I mean, that's usually what happens if you have acne as a teenager. Usually when you go into adulthood, your skin gets better. And that basically happened in my case. You know, it got a lot better as I got older, but the insecurity about my skin has always still been there. It's always been there. So hearing these comments and this whole situation, it was very triggering for me, and it was just very shocking, and I was starting to feel a little upset that this continued on further, because I dismissed it the first time. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not wearing any makeup. I'm just not wearing any makeup today. Normally I am. Normally you can't see my freckles, but whatever. But coming from someone that's very insecure about their skin, and that's come a long way, of course, this was a little much for me. So when I got to the till, he's like, oh yeah, I just wanted to know like why you have so many spots on your skin, why you have so many like marks and stuff on your skin, like what's that about? And I can help you. I can like do this like little blessing and stuff. There's only these words that you have to say every single day, and then you'll have clear skin, and it will get rid of all those black spots on your skin and blah 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 blah. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, no, like no thanks, I don't want that. I'll just continue on wearing makeup, thanks. And I think he got the hint, but I also didn't know what to say. I don't think that was the correct way to address that situation, because I could have been like, what the hell's wrong with you? Don't ever do this again. Don't do this to anyone else, because you don't know what someone's going through. If someone is dealing with bad skin and you're gonna be saying this to every single person that comes in, especially like a teenager that's really unsure about themselves and that's really not confident, you're gonna not only kill their self-esteem, but you also don't know who you're talking to. You could be talking to someone who's suicidal. You could be talking to someone who gets triggered by that sort of thing, and like someone that's going to self-harm because of the way you're speaking to them. And of course I could have said more, but I also got very defensive when I was like, no, I'll just wear my makeup. Like I'll continue to wear my makeup, that's fine. I didn't say anything more, and I should have, because that's not okay. If he does that to other people, that's not okay. And I got my stuff, and of course the machine always asks you if you want to tip them, and I think it's a little bit ridiculous, especially if you're at Subway, to tip whoever is serving you. Like, why? You're not in a restaurant. They're not serving you at the table. They're not, like, no, I'm not tipping you. This is the end of this conversation. I'm leaving. I got in my car and I started crying, and I got home. And Andy's like, why are you crying? Like, what happened? And I told him what happened, and he's like, you're beautiful. You don't need to listen to anybody that's telling you all these things. Like, just let it go. You need to forget about it. You need to let it go. And I'm like, I can't just let it go. I was really upset because, like I said, it was triggering for me. It was triggering in the sense that I've just dealt with skin issues my whole life, and right when I think I'm confident to walk outside with no makeup on, this has to happen. No, I don't have bad skin, and I was having a good skin day, you know? Like, I thought my skin was looking great that day, and then this happens, and I'm like second guessing myself, I'm questioning myself, I'm like looking in the mirror like, is there something wrong with me? But no, there's something wrong with this person and the comments that he made, and that's not okay. And I've never gone back to that Subway since then. I will go out of my way to avoid it. I know it's the closest one to my house, but I can drive an extra 5 minutes to get to another Subway. I can drive to like 2 other different Subways, but I'm not gonna go back to that one because of this whole situation, and it's just upsetting. And honestly, it's not okay. I didn't do anything further. I didn't send a complaint into Subway. I didn't do any of that, but I should have. I should have done a whole lot more for myself in this point, but I didn't. I kind of dismissed it, and now I'm doing the story time. So that is my experience where a Subway worker had made me cry. And I don't want to ever experience this again. Like, I don't. And I think that if this were ever to happen again somewhere else, or at the same place, or by a different person, or by the same person, I should have a better response at saying what I need to. Because if you can't defend yourself, if you're just like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna wear makeup. I'm gonna wear makeup forever so nobody ever sees my skin. Like, no, that's not a great response. That's not the solution. And I think people just need to build each other up. Is he the type of person that goes to a random person on the street, doesn't like the way they look, and is like, oh, you need to change X, Y, and Z about yourself because you're not pretty, because you're ugly, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, that's not okay. And I could have handled the situation a whole lot better, but I just wanted to share it on here. Just a quick little story time about the time a Subway worker made me cry. There's no other story times on YouTube that are like this. Honestly, I'm unique in the sense that this is the only probably story time that this has ever happened to anyone like this at a fast food place, because usually their workers are just like, they're good at customer service for the most part. You know, there's some rude workers that don't really care, but as far as like this level, it was a mess. So that is all for this video. If you guys are not already subscribed, please go ahead, click that subscribe button below. I upload 3 times a week, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. And don't lose your confidence just because someone is being a dick, okay? Everyone out there, you're beautiful, and just know that, okay? So that's all for this video. I'll see you guys soon in my next one. Bye.
I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before.